Hi there, Diane Evans here with StampinWithDiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator. So if this is your first time joining me on my YouTube, make sure that you do subscribe below and also hit the bell, and then you'll get notified immediately when I upload a new video. So today what I want to do is I want to show you something. I've been playing around with this Love You Always suite. Now, I know every time you look at this, you always think of probably Valentine's. This suite extends far beyond Valentine's, and I want to show you something that I've actually done that will make you think, oh man, yeah, that is. It's an excellent way to be able to use it. I'm using a couple of things from this suite, and the thing that I'm using that I'll bring to your attention are these dies here. And this is where I want to show you the versatility of what you can actually do. And I only use 2 parts of this die. I'm going to use the amazing specialty paper and the foil paper as well in this particular card that I'm going to make today. So I was actually inspired by my own card that I had done. And that was back in on the weekend, actually. And I had used a couple projects to make it. But I'll show you that at the end of the video. So it's this die in particular that I want to show you the versatility of it. So I'm just going to remind you that we're using that die and this banner die. This banner die, if anything, is to use in so many different types of cards. And I'll show you on this particular card as well. So I'm using Blushing Bride, and I've cut it at 5.5 by 8.5, and of course I've scored it at 4.25 to be in the middle. And I do fold into the mountain part there. So let's just go and use my bone folder to make sure I've got a really good crease there. And then see this beautiful specialty designer series paper. This happens to be in the Blushing Bride. There is a Rococo Rose and also Sarah Sand one there. So I'm just going to attach that. Again, I'm using my glue, and I'm starting to use my glue more for when I want to get a nice straight edge on my card, because it gives you that extra wiggle room on there. So let's just put that like that. And I do have a bit of time to just wiggle it around to make sure that it is straight. Now, I'm just going to run my bone folder over. And you notice that I didn't take the glue out to the edge. And the reason being for that is I don't want any of the glue oozing out. Now, on this particular stuff, I've gone ahead and I've cut this out. And it's very hard to see this, but this is also the Blushing Bride. So this is a piece of foil that's 4 by 4. One thing that I will be doing, I will be adding, I will have all my measurements on my blog, and the link to that blog post will be listed down below. So I'm actually going to go and also glue that on. You see that I've got some spots that need to come out. So I'm actually just going to bring in my Take Your Pick tool. And because of it being so shiny, it's really kind of hard to see what parts that I've missed that have been not poked out. So actually it's probably best to go on to the back and see what's there. Another one there. Let's see. There we go. Now, I'm then going to use some of this mono adhesive glue. This glue sticks so well, but like I say, if you have too much on it, it could ooze out, and you don't want that happening. So I'm just going to take this part out too. See that there's another piece that's there. And one thing to stop it so that there is no glue that does come out is you can let it sit for just a bit, and it's going to go to a non-shiny thing, so it's going to go kind of an opaque color. Now, I've cut the banner out, and the banner is about a 1.5 inch strip because it is wide, and it's by 5 inches. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but there are some score lines there, so I'm going to take and I'm going to score along those lines. So I'm doing it this way, and I'm going to do the same on the other side, and you see how that's going to work as a beautiful banner on there. Now, once I put this on, let's just I'm just going to just put it like so. I need to have the banner that goes on the bottom. Isn't that so pretty? I mean, my goodness. Now, I've taken my stitch shape dies and I've cut a 2.5-inch circle out on there, and it's going to go on here like so. So I'm actually going to pop those up with dimensionals. I would have popped this up, but it would have probably shown some of my dimensionals. So I decided to pop up the elements on the card instead of that one particular piece. Now this is where you're going to see the versatility of this. I am now taking a heart-shaped die. So I would call that like a doily. So I'm going to have this as a doily background. And once I put this on here, now I've disguised that it's a heart. Isn't that neat? It's so simple, but it's to me, I just find that so neat. And then I am going to put this on here as well. And I'm going to use that by glue. And you'll see why in just a second. I want it to go flat. You have to put this down here like this flat so that you get it so that it's going to, whoops, I've got glue on my fingers there. So that it's going to actually pop up like this. And so that when you put it, whoops, in a card or in an envelope, it's going to, you have the capabilities of it lying flat on there. So let me just get that on there. I've got a bit of glue on myself here. Now this glue can be taken off with, I just usually use a Q-tip, and I just use my rubbing alcohol to take it off. Don't have my Q-tip with me right now. Now another new thing that is in that's coming out as of March the 2nd, it's Butterfly Brilliance Dies. I believe that's the name of these dies. Brilliant Wings dies. And there's 12 different dies, and I'll just bring them in. They have the butterflies. The stamp set is actually one full stamp set that these can cut all out. And then you have these beautiful detailed butterfly dies and some other elements as well that give different background effects and different sort of things. Beautiful, beautiful dies. So I went and I cut one of them out in the basic white. And I also cut one out in the Forever Always, is that, of the foil that goes along with this suite. It's the Forever and Always, or Love You Always foil sheets. So I have those cut out. Let's see, let me just turn this over. Yeah, there we go. Almost. Okay, now I am going to put that on with dimensionals, so I'm going to be very careful with how I do my dimensionals. I'm coming in with my mini dimensionals, and I'm going to go and I'm going to cut just to strip off one of these ends, because they do have quite a bit of a border on these dimensionals, so you can get lots of these littler strips of dimensions. I'm just going to put that on the back of this, and I'm going to lie it on this part here. And then make sure it doesn't show through to the back. And then we're just going to take that off. I'm just going to move this just a bit. There we go. All right, so we just take that. There we go. And we're just going to put this on here, like so. And then I'm also going to pop this up as well. We'll come back in with our bigger dimensionals. Just leave it there, and one right in the middle here. Want lots of dimension on this particular part of the card. And now what we're going to do is I'm just bringing in some Blushing Bride, just some scraps. I'm going to be using white embossing powder. I think that's what's going to kind of highlight this particular stamp. I'm just going to bring this down just a bit more. There we go. I'm just going to use my embossing buddy, and I am using a stamp set from the Dragonfly Garden. I want to thank you card, and thank you for your kindness. I need something. Somebody has done something extremely really, really nice for me, so this is why I'm going to use this. So I'm coming in with my Versamark, and I'm going to be cutting this out. So I'm just going ahead and put it there. And I am going to dip this into my white embossing powder. I use bins when I do my embossing. I find it works the best for me. Some people have problems with it, but when I used to have face-to-face classes, that was the best way of getting it through. Now I'm bringing in my heat tool, and it's going to be a bit of noise just to get it so that I can get it good and heated. And we'll just start just emboss it. Now, the one thing I don't do is I don't shake it like this. I just go from one end. Once it starts, it just goes. But if you move it around and try to get it so it's embossed, what happens to your embossing or the embossed image itself is it does get overcooked. And we don't want that to happen because it flattens out your embossing and everything else. So I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to fussy cut that. And just go around. And again, when I fussy cut, I always move the cardstock. I don't move the scissors. I think that's what most people have the biggest problems with. And also the biggest problem is not having the right tools. These Stampin' Up paper snips are amazing. I use them I don't have one for the ribbon. I use them just for my paper cutting. So now we're just going to go in and I'm going to put that right on here. So I'm going to glue that because there is the bit of movement in that piece there. Just going to have to lay that down on there. And we're just going to hold it in place until it gets adhered down. Now I'm also going to use my elegant faceted gems to just do a tiny bit. I mean, it's quite a shiny card to begin with, but I'm going to use these ones here, the ones that are actually the they're more of a petal pink, but they'll go great on this particular card. So let me just go in and just put a few on here. I think this part down here needs some. Just gonna put this here, and I'm actually gonna move this up here, right there. And then I'm gonna put another one on there. Just like there. It's going to get lost anywhere else on this particular card. So once I clean this up here, there's my card right there. I really like how it changes that whole look with this look of this. I'm calling it a doily. So now I'm going to show you another card that I did on the weekend that inspired me to do this particular card, and it was this one here. And this one uses the Rococo Rose part of it and then a smaller, different butterfly. I put this foil underneath. I think it looks better with the white underneath. But anyways, there's my card for today. I hope you like that. If you did like that, make sure that you give me the thumbs up. Leave a comment. If you have any questions, leave a comment. And also make sure that you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you don't have a demonstrator and live in Canada, I'd love to be your demonstrator. I have a host code. It will be posted on the blog as well, the current one. They do change quite regularly. And basically, if you do use that host code, I do have a tutorial for you, which has 12 to 13 different projects on there. Beautiful cards that they've made, or different projects on there. And also, I do have a very generous reward program. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed that. That is my card for the day. And thank you. Thanks so much for dropping by. Bye for now.